Okay, hi there, everybody. Okay, this is a writing for CPE for the C2 level. It's an essay for part two. You have had a discussion about the importance of the opening scenes in the film you have seen in your English language class. Your teacher has now asked you to write an essay on the film based on the following statement. The opening scenes of a successful film always arouse the interest of the viewers. Write your essay. The importance of the opening scene in movies. This essay was written by Roland Simon. A great film needs to sweep viewers off their feet. I take it as read that all movie fans unanimously agree with this statement. Whether an opening scene has a pivotal part in the success of a movie or not is a moot point. I choose the hours to discuss this issue in my essay. So, yeah, I think that's really quite a nice first paragraph. Okay, this film begins with a highly poignant sequence. Good, semicolon. The bitterly disheartened, I like this, Virginia Woolf, the author. Virginia Woolf, the author. The bitterly disheartened Virginia Woolf, the author. I'm going to put an author, but the author is desperately walking into the cold water, deeply engrossed in her thoughts, while her husband is reading her farewell letter at their home. So, walking into the cold water, wading, sounds much better. Let me put this in capitals. You wade into water, is desperately wading. I'm even going to put deeper and deeper. Into the cold water, so the cold water, into the cold water of a river. And then I would put another semicolon here. She is deeply engrossed in her thoughts while her husband is reading her farewell letter at home. Severe depression permeates the entire movie. Like her protagonist, Mrs. Dalloway, Virginia has been struggling with her demons in a losing battle for such a long time. Now she cannot put up with the disturbing voices in her head. Such a deep mental depression that she has experienced that it leads to her tragic decision. So, no. So deep is her mental depression. So deep is the mental depression that she has experienced. So deep is the mental depression. We've got two that's here as well. So deep is the Whoops, I haven't put the deep here. So deep is the mental depression. She has experienced that it leads to her tragic decision. No one could meddle with her act to commit suicide by drowning herself in the river. So no one could meddle. To meddle is a bit weak. No one will be able, or no one shouldn't, no one will meddle. I think I probably prefer interfere. No one will interfere with her act. I need some sort of description. With her act to commit suicide. No one will interfere with her actions, with her. I think I would probably with her suicide. No one will interfere with her suicide as she drowns herself in the river. Sounds like Ophelia. There is a fine line between madness and genius. It is certainly true for her. Excruciatingly disturbed mind is the price that Virginia has to pay for her exceptional flair. Okay. An excruciatingly disturbed mind, a mind. It is certainly true for her. There is a fine line. Wait a second. So what I think I would do here is I would put this colon the other way round. I think this colon goes here. There is a fine line between madness and genius. Whoops. It is certainly true for her. Full stop. An excruciatingly disturbed mind is the price that Virginia has to pay for her exceptional flair. Good word. She is pondering about the meaning of life prior to, so this to is the dependent preposition with prior to ending her suffering. Seeing her motionless body merging into the blue depths of oblivion rends our hearts. And this again needs to be a full sentence. Seeing her motionless body merging into the rends our hearts. Rends our hearts. Because this is not a full sentence. Rends our hearts, comma, because this is just subordinate information. Leaving her masterpiece for the future readers. I would put and writing herself forever into the history, of literature. The initial shot is mainly used to plant the main ideas of the story. Unbeknown to the viewers, movie magicians ensnare them into their cleverly built trap. Fine. Not only does a great outset glue readers to the edge of their seat, but it also gives directors a chance to set the scene and embark their main characters on their journey. We consider first impressions as an irreplaceable aspect in our everyday lives. Okay, yeah, we consider first impressions as an irreplaceable aspect, I think, of our everyday lives, such as dating or job interviews. Likewise, do it so. Likewise, it is done intentionally or inadvertently with movies, in movies. Suffice it to say that we tend to make assumptions about everything. Good. In conclusion, I'm absolutely convinced that a beginning scene, an opening scene has always played an indispensable role in any film in the cinematic art of history. Okay, so I think you want to put, because this is talking about history, in the history of cinematic art, of the cinematic art. Let me read that sentence again. In conclusion, I'm absolutely convinced that an opening scene has always played an indispensable role in any film in the history of the cinematic art. If the film experts did not enthrall us with their visual tales, we would stop watching them. Okay, that's pretty good. So let's see. Do you answer the question? Yeah, you answer the question very nicely. You talk about the hours. You talk about the opening scene, and then you talk about why it's important. You're answering the question very well. I think probably 4.5 out of 5, 4 out of 5. How adventurous is the grammar? You've definitely got an inversion that worked, and not only one, I think. But you still miss this. So deep is the mental depression she has experienced that. Yeah, so deep is the such a deep bout of mental depression has she experienced that. So how adventurous? I think I'm probably going to give you a 4 on it. 4 out of 5. The vocabulary is lovely, I really like it, but you're always very good with vocabulary. This rend, there are lots of other words. This unbeknown that you've taken from a recent video. Inadvertently is a nice word. To make assumptions. Struggle with your demons, a losing battle. Engrossed, there's lots of good vocabulary here. I think bitterly disheartened collocates very nicely. Poignant. I think I'm going to give you 4.5 for vocabulary because you've used it really quite well. Then mistakes. Okay, there are not a lot of mistakes, but there are several. The mistakes don't interfere with the understanding of the piece. I think I'm probably going to give it something like 3.5 out of 5 for accuracy. The cohesion's quite good. I liked all these semicolons. Remember, you can only use a semicolon to join two full sentences. Each one has got to be a full sentence. If it's not a full sentence, you can't use a semicolon. How cohesive is it? I think probably I'm probably going to give it something like 4 out of 5, something like that. Let's see. Overall, I think I would probably give it a 7.5. It's a probably a B plus or an A minus, something like that. It's a good essay though, and I quite like it. So well done. You should be proud of it.